Hello, Scorpio. It's time for your weekly reading, May 8th to 14th, 2021. So here it is spring, and I'm feeling pretty optimistic in spite of the crazy world we live in. I hope you are too. Today I'm just going to do a very simple little spread. 3 cards about you, 3 cards about what's going on, and 3 cards about, the outcome, the answer, the advice. And because it's a general reading, it doesn't necessarily match everybody's situation, but I'm sure you can take a lot of it and figure out what it applies to in your own life, which is the great thing about the cards. It really gives us some food for thought and ways to change things that are not always going the way we want them to, which I love. So let's dive right in. The devil. People are afraid of the devil, but he's usually just kind of a good little marker of what's going on. Ooh, I'm liking this zone a lot. This is coming up a lot. This is not one of my favorite cards, and it's coming up an awful lot. I'm getting this guy too many times lately, too. Okay, so I don't mean to minimize anything, but it seems that we get these cards in cycles, and depending on what's going on in the world, it seems like we tend to get similar cards. And this card, which is about a lot of sadness and anxiety, seems to be coming up for a lot of people, and so does this one. Sorry, I'm super allergic to a bunch of things. Okay, so the devil. The devil is typically about things that we are chained to that make our lives unhealthy or not fabulous in some manner or another. Not healthy in some way, not healthy as far as finances, not healthy as far as, our physical being. Somehow it's not great. Sorry, this is a disaster. All I've done today is hack away, but there's nothing I can really do about it. Well, I suppose there is, but all those allergy drugs make everybody tired, so that's not good either. So the devil is all about, like I say, it can be addictions, it can be obsessions, it can be spending too much, drinking too much, it can be even being too hard on yourself can be obsessive with people. They can beat themselves up emotionally, and that is no good for anybody. Certainly not for you, if that's what you're doing. It doesn't have to mean that you're a full-blown alcoholic if you get the card or anything like that. It could mean that, but it could also mean, and because this reading is for multiple people, you have to figure out what your level of this is. It could just mean that you overindulge enough that maybe you should, rein in a little bit. It could be, what else? Let's see. There's so many things it could be. It can be, like I say, shopping too much, or it could be people who are really narcissistic and sit around half the day in front of the mirror. I know that sounds hilarious, but I've met people like that, and I bet you have too. Self-indulgence. It could be like OCD, obsessive situations. I know that's not necessarily something you wanted to create for yourself, but when the devil comes up, maybe it's something to look at, to work on. To anything that you do in this regard is going to make your life better. You don't want to have obsessions. You don't want to have compulsions. It's best not to. And addictions, obviously. Or anything that, like, there are some things we might not call an addiction, but there are people who go so overboard with it, like the overspending, that it can destroy your life, or at least your financial life. So if anything like that is going on, or if you have that sort of personality, since this is the you part, if you have the kind of personality where you tend to, be too much of a party animal, or too much of a person who maybe latches on to every guy who comes along or girl, and just has to be with them, has to have a person in your life always, whether they're good for you or bad for you, that kind of thing. Any of those things that are kind of self-destructive, that's what the devil's about. So seriously take that into consideration. This one is the Two of Wands is about somebody looking at their world, trying to evaluate what's what. Like, where have you been? Where are you going? So maybe you're a very introspective. I cannot talk. I can't. I can't go 2 minutes without coughing. I can't speak properly. I'm doing great today, huh? So anyway, so bear with me. Um, this card is very much about figuring out what your next step is in life. And so maybe you're the sort of person who is very introspective. You evaluate things, you plan, you look at, you figure out, you take the time to do that, which is a very good thing. I mean, it is something we do need to do to take stock of, you know, what you can offer the world, what the world can offer you, and how it can all come together in one great package. The Page of Swords, maybe this is you. Maybe this is you. Probably not, because it is a sword, and you guys are definitely a water sign, Scorpio. However, um, you could have this sort of personality where you're kind of a truth seeker, youthful, very clear, seeking clarity, a good communicator, intelligent, that sort of thing. That could be your personality, or it could be a person who has influenced you greatly, and maybe that's why it's a part of your personality. So this is okay. I mean, just keep a handle on this, but this is okay. And once in a while, and I won't tell you this too often, because usually the devil is about when these things are not good for us, okay? But there are times that people are obsessed with something good. Like, I mean, usually we call it a negative. If somebody's a workaholic, we call it a negative. But if nobody's waiting for you at home and you love doing it, what the heck, right? There are exceptions to everything. So this part of your reading, the what's going on, excuse me, this is a wonderful, beautiful part of the reading. Here you've got, I hope this is what's true for you this week, you guys, because this is really lovely. So this is my favorite card in the deck, the Six of Cups. It speaks to a beautiful, very close relationship, like the friendship of childhood, that close, magical kind of relationship where you can tell the person anything. There's that closeness. You can share your secrets and tell them everything, and they've always got your back. It's really special and a lot of fun, and it's just unlike what most people ever experience as adults. So sometimes it's a love relationship where somebody comes out of the past to have this really special, magical relationship, which is, I'm very lucky I have something like that going on, because I had a pen pal when I was a teenager, and about a year and a half ago, we started talking and got together. So, I mean, we don't live near each other, which is very, very sad, but, I have this special relationship, and so I get this card a lot, but then I always got this card a lot, even as a child, because my mother read cards, but I often wonder if the card was that was going to be in my future. Like, this card has always been so important to me, and such a part of my life that I often think that it was like a predictor of this situation that I've got now, that it was going to become such a major part of my future. But it can also mean other things. It can be looking at your childhood. If you had a happy childhood, it can be a very nostalgic card. And you will find that young people getting readings will often have this card in their recent past or their past, which is quite sweet. The Ace of Cups, 2 cups here, and the Ace of Cups, 3 cups here. But the Ace of Cups is a wonderful card. It's like the beginning of a relationship, usually. It can be something else. It can be anything you're passionate about. But it quite often is a relationship, and when I see these 2 cards together, I think it could quite likely be a relationship. But it could be a project you're passionate about, or a job you're passionate about, anything that you are overflowing with passion about. So this is the very, very beginning, the inception, the idea even. And it's just beginning here, and it's probably going to be magnificent. So this is exciting, and this card is wonderful. And the Wheel of Fortune, the general perception of this card is something is happening that's fated. You have no thing that you can do about it. I don't agree with that. I think we can almost always have something to do with our futures and what's happening, our presents. And I find this to be a very lucky card. I will say as a blanket statement that generally speaking, this card means good luck. So it's lovely. So then we've got this card. This card seems to be coming up for an awful lot of people lately. You see these two people. They look like they're homeless. One has crutches. So it is a card that means the an income or livelihood can go way down, or health can decline, or it has declined, and you're feeling the effects of it. But then we have to remember that this card also is very hopeful in that it looks like there's sanctuary right there. It looks like they're near a church. Some people look at this card as a connection to spirit because, when things look really dark, you have spiritual connections. And then the two people who look like they're in dire straits also have each other. So it can also be considered a card of camaraderie. I mean, maybe this relationship here is somebody who, when the going gets rough, will still be there for you. This doesn't necessarily have to be the future, but if it was, I mean, marriage vows have for richer, for poorer in them, or the old-fashioned ones do anyway. And, maybe there is a situation. A lot of people are having a declining income right now. Like a lot of people whose jobs have either changed or been eliminated because of, what's going on in the world right now. A lot of people are making the most of the situation and starting new businesses and doing all kinds of fabulous creative things. But even within that, you don't just turn a profit in 5 minutes. It sometimes takes years to create the thing that they're trying to achieve right now. So maybe that's your situation. The torment here. I don't know what this is about, but this can be baggage, something that you've carried with you that's giving you trouble, or, it can be your perception of something, or it can be something it can be worry, anxiety, worry. It can be that there is something to grieve. Sometimes we carry this for a long time before we do grieve. It can even be the torment and trauma of worry over a financial issue. It seems like you have to make some decisions here. I love this card. Some people don't like it that much because if you look at the card, it's like you've got all these decisions, and some of them look quite nice. Like, this cup has a bunch of jewels in it, like something that fell out of a treasure chest. But then, if you pick this one, you've got like some ugly old lizardy dude, so, and a snake on this one, so it's about making the right choices. And maybe you're really worried about what to do about this financial issue, and that's causing you some real torment. So look at your life, do this, and really evaluate and think things out, and know that you're going to have a life of passion, and you've got luck on your side right now. Don't do this to yourself. Nothing is really worth doing this to yourself. These are swords. They represent thoughts. Pull them out. Just walk away from those swords if you need to do that, so you can be productive and do the things you want to do and not be in this mode. Remember, there's always help, and there's always hope, and there's always something you can do. And I think you're really passionate. I think something really good is going to come out of all this, whatever it may be. Don't, if something's going wrong here, let's not turn to the wrong substances or anything else. You're going to be okay. You've got some really good luck on your side, and I think things are going to work out. So calm down, don't panic, and move into the future. And I hope to talk to you next week. So you take care.